Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather in person, those of us that haven't gotten to be here. We appreciate you keeping us healthy, and we are thankful that we get to serve our people in this fashion. Keep us humble and help us with our right mind thinking. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Mayor,
Roll call.
switching seats.
James Taylor.
Here.
Joe Deere.
Aye.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Harvey Buzzard.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Julia Cook.
Here.
John Crittenden.
Honey.
Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Kanan Duncan.
Honey.
Rex Jordan. Darrell Legg. Wes Fire. Kowski.
Here.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw.
Honey.
Leo Smith.
Here.
Victoria Vasquez.
Honey.
We have a quorum.
Awesome. I'll entertain an approval of the minutes from the May 28th session.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the minutes from May 28th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, we have our CEO of Cherokee Nation Businesses on the video. Tell us something good, Chuck.
Well, thank you. I've got some good news to report. There's some, we're back in action. We've got all 10 of our properties up and running. Have been just very, very pleased with, our staff has just been excellent. Everybody seems to be glad to be back and glad to be in a routine. It's not business as usual, of course. We but have been really sticking to our protocols for being the market-leading gaming company as far as safety issues and health of our employees and our customers in mind. We have continued to maintain a strict masking policy, as well as non-smoking policy. We're the only ones in the Tulsa market, and one of the very, very few, I think, across the state, to have such a strictly adhered to masking policy. I think it's the right thing to do. I think you all share that sentiment. I noticed yesterday, in fact, that Caesars in Vegas had gone from a voluntary mask policy to a mandatory mask policy due to the spike in numbers in Nevada. So we're going to continue to do the right thing. I think, our employees feel better about that. And in fact, I was kind of sad. I was reading an article the other day, 2 or 3 days ago, about some of the employees in Vegas, and they had made a video imploring the guests to wear masks, to create a safer work place for them. So I think it's the right thing to do. Candidly, the numbers are running in that 50 to 60% range in terms of what we were running prior to COVID in most of our venues. So people are concerned still, of course, and getting back. I have very little doubt, and I think most in the industry have little doubt that we will return to our previous numbers. But right now, as you all well know, the COVID numbers are exceedingly high in Tulsa County, especially, and so we'll not anticipate a big surge of business since then. We now have our hotels back open, so we're working through some of those protocols, and it's good to be open. Have some marketing campaigns that will be rolling out here in the near future, and so like I say, knock on wood, it's good to be back in business. I want to also brag on our federal contracting. We have really had an exceptional couple of months on that side of our business. I did not, and we weren't really certain how the COVID and coronavirus would impact the federal contracting, whether there might be some of our contracts that fell out. I think we had one, maybe there was a second one just recently that fell out, and so we have really appreciated having that to balance out our revenues. We have been busy in Arkansas, as many of you have read or heard, and we continue to fight hard for that casino license in Polk County. We had an opportunity to present to the Arkansas Racing Commission and subsequent commission meeting on Monday. So we're working closely with the commission and the Attorney General's office, working through some issues there. But I remain confident and upbeat about our chances of prevailing there. I'd be happy to pause there. I don't know if there's a particular area that, Madam Chair, that you would like me to focus on, or other counselors would like me to focus on, but I'll just pause to see if there's a direction you'd like me to go.
Anybody have any questions for Chuck? Go ahead, Counselor Deere.
I just got a comment, Mr. G. First of all, I want to thank you for doing the walkthrough with me at the Hard Rock as we were looking through the COVID. And, we noticed a couple of issues different as far as the lettering. And by the next Monday, we went in there and those were all changed. The staff there was really good with their sanitary, as we figured out when we ordered a glass of water just to see the process. So I just want to appreciate it. I think the staff did really well, even going to the golf course. I mean, the staff that's outside, customer service was great. There was a lot of people out there in the heat, and getting these misters out there helped those guys out. That was pretty quick when we asked about those. That didn't even take a week. But I just want to thank you for taking that time, and you guys and your staff did really well when it came to opening as far as safety and taking preventive measures to protect our customers and our citizens and self. So I just wanted to say that and appreciate your time, sir.
You bet. Well, thank you very much. I appreciated you coming out. That was a good little tour, and appreciated your input. So thanks.
Counselor Dobbins?
Yes, Chuck, do you foresee any new activity at Cherokee Plaza?
I do, as a matter of fact, and I think I can go ahead and comment on this, because we've signed the lease, but we have I'm gonna hedge my bet just a little bit, say a national brand coffee house, probably the worst kept secret in town, but I don't want to inadvertently breach any confidentiality agreement that we might have, but a very recognizable national coffee brand that will begin constructing very soon. I don't know the exact timing. I think it's though within a month or so. Of course, the hotel is coming along. So I think those two things will really help the existing tenants, and also should help attract some new tenants as well. So it's nice to see a little bit of progress being made despite despite the economy and some of the slowdown due to COVID.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Go ahead, Counselor Merrifier.
So Monday is when we're supposed to hear more about the Arkansas gaming venture.
Well, we may not even have to wait till Monday. Today we were supposed to, there were meetings that have been recommended by the chairman of the Racing Commission, and so unfortunately one of the attorneys for the other applicant couldn't make it. We had some scheduling issues. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's been a very wild ride here the last week or so, and again, all probably have followed some of it, but I do expect probably next week there to be some direction chosen, and there's several different possible outcomes, and some of them are very time consuming, including some rule changes and, which require some legislative acts. Was probably, 6-month time period on that, or up to 6 months, and then, potentially some judicial action as well. So we'll probably hear some direction next week, and probably have some better idea of where we're heading on that.
Okay, appreciate it. In the meantime, I spoke with Councilor Duncan and Councilor Crittenton. I think we've got a couple of ideas that I think I mentioned to Chief a little bit. So whenever you are able to, I know you're super busy, step away. Definitely like to have a meeting with you and talk to you and discuss with you a couple of ideas that might impact some of us here locally with a business venture that could do a lot of good things for a lot of people around here.
Okay, great. I appreciate that very much, Counselor, and I'll look forward to that.
Sounds good. All right, appreciate it, Madam Chair.
Counselor Shaw?
Yes. Hi, Chuck. How are you doing?
Well, Counselor, thank you.
Listen, I want to tell you how much I applaud what you're doing for our guests at our casinos, because especially in light of the fact that 2 casinos in Oklahoma have been shut down that are operated by other tribes.
Yeah.
My question today is, do we own a database storage?
Do we own a database storage?
Yes, do we own one?
Well, we have our own, for that we have our own data. We don't have one that we rent out or lease to third parties, if that's what you're meaning.
Is that something we would consider owning?
Well, again, we have some, a lot of this is now, in the cloud, cloud servers and cloud storage. And so, I think we have some redundancy both at West Siloam and at the Hard Rock, for some of our player data, for example, and other other records that we keep. It would be, is there, and we can talk offline if there's some opportunity that you would like us to consider or look into. Certainly would be happy to visit with you after the meeting or later tomorrow or so.
I think it could be a great opportunity for us from a business standpoint, especially in regards to our healthcare system.
Very good. Well, I'd be very happy to visit with you more about that, and we can involve Todd Gore, who is our Chief Information Officer at C&B, and also serving a senior role for you all at the Nation and in the technology area. And I know there's some very capable people there, so we could pull those guys together. They would probably be able to give us some good feedback.
Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else that has any questions or comments for, go ahead, Counselor Crittenden.
Yeah. Hey, we hadn't met in a long time, or we hadn't presented in a while, of course, but I've got to tell you how much I appreciate all of you and your staff. I don't know how many employees we have, but you and I discussed a whole lot of different unique scenarios, and you met that with caring about every one of them and try to fix each individual scenario. And in your position, or anybody in any position, that holds a lot of water with me when you take the time to meet. You've really shown that no matter where they're working, that you're going to try to help them or at least get an answer. And wanted to thank you for that, and also you and Chief for, sounds like we kind of got a deal going on the leave and the testing thing. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say, sir. Thank you.
Well, I really appreciate that feedback, and this has been a really stressful time for so many people, and and every one of our employees has their own sets of issues and concerns and circumstances, and you just you have to dig in there and do the right thing. So appreciate your comment.
Okay. Everybody else good with his report?
Hey, Chuck, on the,
Yes, sir.
your CMB employees, different from the government, you're not calling yours hazardous pay, are you? Or are you?
Well, we called it a little bit different. We went with like a thank you pay, a premium pay. It was essentially the same thing.
Okay.
And what? Yes, sir. And we did it a little bit different, but we're now kind of on the same page as the nation, and we're working through so that there won't the distinction and difference in how each of those employees were treated will minimize those differences, so that there's some programs that I think you all have heard about or working through, and Chief of Staff Enlow and I and the Chief and I have had conversations, and we're trying to marry up our policies on that.
Okay, when all this takes place, when can they count on receiving their pay? Have you decided on that yet?
Well, we really haven't. We just got to the point where I think we've got it all kind of nailed down now as to what that pay will be and how it will be calculated. And I don't have my my payroll cycle calendar in front of me, but my guess is that we'll probably be in that next cycle. It'll probably take us a week to kind of get everything loaded up and make sure we have the calculations accurate and teed up for payment.
Okay, I know they'll be happy. Okay, thank you, Chuck, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a compensation well earned and well deserved. So I'm glad we're being able to do it.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, other than that, I think we're gonna cut you loose, Chuck.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, Trey, you're up.
Good afternoon. I do have a report in there that y'all saw probably. So I guess I can start with that if you guys have any questions on the monthly financial report.
Anybody having questions on that they haven't already gotten answered prior to the meeting? Go ahead, Ms.
Hi,
Shaw.
Kaylina. Kaylina, on your report, you've got that the files received for storage year-to-date were 3,842. Who's storing those files?
The warehouse. Those are actual paper files. So each area has their own storage within their office, but then when that kind of gets full, they'll call our warehouse and say, we've got, X number of boxes. They box them up in those banker box types, and we pick them up and take them into the warehouse.
Traylina, when you all have data stored, who is storing that for us?
Like electronic data?
Yeah.
We are. It's on our servers.
Once a week or thereabouts, I get a message, the drives are backed up, or they're gonna be turned off or back up or something.
Okay, yeah.
What is that about almost every week?
Well, and sometimes they're maybe for Lawson. It might be that Lawson.
Lawson service,
Lawson.
yes.
Okay, so that's our big accounting software program. So every once in a while, they just have to run maintenance on it. It's nothing big, but they'll shut it down and they'll do their backups, back everything up to the server, and then if there's any like patches or anything that have come out from Lawson that need to be uploaded, they'll do that too.
Thank you.
You good? All right, Counselor Duncan.
Treasurer, myself, along with probably most other council people here, we've gotten questions about giving individual citizens stipends or per capita payments from the CARES Fund, CARES Act. So I know that our Attorney General has given her official opinion on the matter, but also know that the guidance changes daily from the Treasury on different issues. Have we gotten any specific guidance from the Treasury on whether that's allowable or non-allowable?
Yes, we have. In fact, on June 24th, they published new FAQs. And it actually says, it discusses that specifically.
That was yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday. Hot off the press.
This just in, Todd says.
Hey, there you go.
The day of. Go ahead, Trey.
So on page, when you get it, it's on page 8, kind of down the page a little bit. But it's the question is, must a state, local, or tribal government require applications to be submitted by businesses or individuals before providing assistance using payments from the fund? It goes on, that's the question, and then Treasury's answer is that governments have discretion to determine how to tailor the assistance programs they establish in response to COVID-19. However, such program should be structured in such a manner as will ensure that such assistance is determined to be necessary in response to COVID-19 or otherwise satisfies the law. And then it very clearly says, for example, a per capita payment to residents of a particular jurisdiction without assessment of individual need would not be an appropriate use of the fund.
Okay, so they finally come out with the plain and simple answer.
Yeah, they came out and they said basically the same thing our AG said, that it's not allowable because you have to establish that it is necessary and due to.
Okay, so in follow-up with that, it's my understanding that Human Services, who is receiving CARES funding, their plan is to help out citizens on an individual basis through existing programs, and so that's going to be allowable still.
Yes, existing programs and expanded programs too.
Okay.
You know, they still have their grant funds that, you know, are typical of each year. And then under the CRF, we have the ability to give them additional funds, you know, to help more people. So,
Okay.
and we fully plan to do that.
Thank you.
Counselor No Fire?
Are those specific funds income case guidelines, just like the money that we've already received?
They do not have to be, sir. No, there is no rules under this particular section of the CARES Act that puts any parameters around assistance with regard to their income.
So if I send someone to Human Services, who makes the determination on whether or not they're going to receive that funding?
Well, I think that Marcia's group is probably coming up with a plan. I don't think it'll be just wide open. That
Right.
You know, someone who makes $1 million a year, you know, or needs assistance. So they'll probably put some parameters around there. Probably they won't be as restrictive, I think, as the grants. But I mean, I don't want to speak for her department, but I'm sure that they'll come up with some program guidelines for that.
Okay. And did we already distribute the $100 million in funds to CNB?
No, it's not 100. We have provided them, we have reimbursed them about $69 million.
$69 million so far. Are we able, I didn't get a look at it, but are we able to get a breakdown of what incurred expenses was from CNB that you received in order to pay them the $69 million?
They're not in the packet, but
Right.
we have that, yes.
Okay, and I can look at that, or when can I take a look at that?
you can. I don't know if you'd have to go through a GRA or not, but yeah, you're welcome to see those, yes.
Okay, perfect, awesome, appreciate it, Madam Chair.
Counselor Crittenden?
Yeah. Todd and Trey Leonard, do you see any loosening like the human services guidelines? Right now they have to meet, income guideline and,
I think so. I don't really want to speak for Marcia's group, but
Right.
I think that we have some latitude there to ease those up a little bit. Yes.
I will say, similar to food distribution, we've been trying to get as many people signed up on food distribution because they may not have been eligible, but because of an economic downturn, or they've been laid off, or lost a job, or loss of income in its short term. Food distribution is able to make some allowances for that. So with a lot of the money that you're seeing through COVID Relief Fund or CARES Act related activities, there's allowances for people that are suffering short term. So I think we'll be looking at those things that we can accommodate for the short term, that they may not have met the criteria before because of the short term incident. So I'm like Trey Lynn, I don't want to speak for her just yet since we don't have all that fleshed out, but I would say that we're trying to look at the big picture and understanding what people are going through in the short term as well.
one other question to follow up, Kanan. If I understand it right, talking per cap, it's in there. If someone done that, it would have to address each individual. What do they need, right?
Yeah.
And like in our enrollment of 300,000+, you would have to address each individual. And I like how that falls into human services, where that is addressing my air conditioner need.
We already have that program basically set up.
My hot water heater need, so I like that. That's a good explanation.
Yep.
Thank you.
Counselor Smith?
Yeah, if there was a way possible, I'd like for us to see, to break this down and get it out to the public, do a better job of informing them why we're not giving them their money. Because the average person don't understand why they're not getting any money. But if we explain it to them like we've been explained to here, hopefully they would satisfy a lot of them and make them ease up a little bit. If possible.
And we can certainly do that. This specific guidance just came out yesterday. So up until yesterday, we had our AG's opinion that said that it doesn't appear to be allowable. But we can definitely, expand upon this and say, Treasury has now come out and said the same thing.
That'd be a lot better, because right now it's just saying, well, our AG says it's not legal. Well, the other ones are doing it, and so, they're confused, don't understand. And we could explain it a lot better.
Yeah.
A whole bunch better.
We can work on that.
Can we not insert that in our local paper or local papers and even our paper? Have we explained it in there, why we cannot?
I haven't seen it if it's been in the paper. It may have to have the chief address it in any of his.
No, not specifically, but I think, to Treasurer's point, since we have this additional guidance from Treasury, it lends more street credibility to say, we're not just saying it, this is the federal government that gave us the funds, this is the guidance that they provided to us. So I think with that additional strength behind the message, will help communicate that message and provide a little bit more understanding. We're just not arbitrarily deciding we don't want to give it out.
Sure. Well, now we have the backup there. We could amend it and put it in layman's terms where our constituents would understand.
So yeah, I think there's quite a bit of messaging that we can do through social media as well as the print media and other resources.
Okay.
To get that message out.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Counselor Austin?
Thank you.
Yes, Trey Lynn, has the Treasury actually issued a statement on what the punishment would be for not using funds properly?
Yes. So under the statute itself, the Department of Treasury's Inspector General has oversight authority of these funds. And, they'll be coming around and basically doing an audit on us. And any expenses that they find that are not allowable, we would have to then pay the Treasury back for whatever that amount was. So, if it had been now that we have this guidance, if we went ahead and did like a a per cap and say it was 100 million, they'd come in and they'd say that's not allowable and we have to pay 100 million back to the federal government.
Without the ability to recapture.
Oh, yeah, no, that would, yes, that would be a loss to us. That would be on us.
I'm not sure that that's well understood, the fact that if we misspend it, we repay it.
Yes.
And if we pull that trigger before we 100% know this stuff, we could end up creating a big hole for the Cherokee Nation and the people of the Cherokee Nation to repay.
We could. That is why I think we're moving forward with caution and with sound legal advice as we do these things.
If I understand, the purpose of the COVID-19 CARES Act funds is not to enrich people. It's to make us whole. It's to make us whole with the monies that we spend in order to be prepared for this, to fight this, to combat this, and make us better prepared for this. It's not to enrich.
Are you done?
Yes.
Counselor Dora?
I was just going to say to EO, you could take this and just change your profile picture and put that right there.
Pretty wordy.
Counselor No Fire? Do you really want to follow that?
I think I can follow it.
I think you can handle it.
The two questions I had, one was, how are we getting around it whenever it says the CARES Act cannot be used to cover costs that were already budgeted for, right? You can't cover costs that were previous year's budget. So if it's already budgeted, you can't spend it. But wasn't the OSU Medical School and the Wilma P already budgeted to be paid for?
Not from Cherokee Nation's budget, no.
But it was already previously budgeted under C&B.
Yes.
Okay, that was just the only kind of like gray area I was just curious about of how we're able to walk that line. And then far as the money that we issued to C&B, they have a lawsuit, obviously, that they filed for their insurance claim. If they get awarded that money back, are then the money that we issued them, are they paying us back since they're essentially getting their money from the insurance company?
No, they wouldn't pay us back. The insurance money, if they were able to recover, which I
It's a big if.
won't speak to the likelihood of that, but if they were able to recover on that, it would be for, they could actually do their lost profits. So they would get their lost profit back from the insurance money. This is for the expenses that were paid.
Okay. I think that, okay, I understand that. I just, the gray area on the whole paying for the medical programs is the only thing that I'm concerned with, since it was already previously budgeted. It didn't say that it couldn't, you know, if you were paying for somebody else's budgeted, it said you could or you couldn't. So that's just the only thing that I think probably needs to be cleared, just for everybody's protection on it. So
We have taken that through some attorneys who have blessed it, but I can get you more information on that if you'd like.
yeah, I mean, if you could give me kind of a report of what the attorney said on it, so how that we know that we're okay there would be great. So, okay, all right, appreciate it, madam.
Counselor Coates?
Thank you. This is an unfair question to you, but there may be someone else in the room that could also respond. You were mentioning the Inspector General for the Treasury Department, and I knew that was part of the whole deal, but my question recently has been, what is our level of confidence given the number of Inspector Generals that have been fired recently, and the number of tribes that have received these COVID monies? What is our level of confidence that review, that audit is actually going to take place? And if so, I mean, do we know when? Is there any kind of a time frame for when that might begin?
So we don't have a time frame specifically. However, I do believe we will be audited. If for no other reason than, we're the tribe that got the second most amount of funding under this program. So we see it a lot with our grants as well, because we are a large recipient of grants. And so sometimes these federal programs, they have a quota almost that they need to make. And so they can come and do one audit with the Cherokee Nation and they meet their quota instead of having to do several audits on smaller tribes. So I fully expect that we will be audited, and we are proceeding as such, getting all the right documentation in place and approvals and everything else. So,
do you have any guess as to, does this begin before the funds have been completely expended? Does it take place after that certain time period, or we just don't know?
Yeah, I would expect that it won't be until after December 30th. So after we've spent the funds, they'll come back and do a retrospective look at it. But this is something that we're very well versed on. I think last year we had something like 20 something independent audits on our grants and everything. So it's something that my department is very proficient at. They're very good at these audits.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Deere?
Hey Trey, I just wondered, they put that out there about the per cap, we're gonna use human services, right? And then, are they gonna follow up with parameters, like, to say what's okay, pre-audit, like, air conditioner, yeah, your air conditioner went out, but that's really not a COVID thing. But are they gonna send parameters to follow up with their statement on that, or what, so we know where the boundaries are?
I would doubt it. They've been very, their response to a lot of the questions is, it's okay as long as it meets the requirements. So really we're going back to those three prongs of the test. It's necessary and due to, not budgeted for or not accounted for, and then incurred between March 1 and December 30. That's really the crux of it. They've already given the latitude, basically they said it's up to the government officials to determine what's necessary, and so they're giving us a lot of latitude on that front. But I doubt that they'll come out and give any kind of very pointed, this is okay, this isn't okay type guidance.
So they won't try to come back and say, like a normal tax, you can only take a percentage out of the 100%, or any guidelines like that later, that we would be responsible for the other 60, the other 50 of what we had given out.
Well, and two, I think if, they've kind of set it up to where it's a moving target with this continually rolling out new frequently asked questions and updating their guidance. So to the extent that, we were to make a decision based on the information we have today that we believe is legally sound and proper and everything else, we'll document that as of the date that we make the decision and provide the funds. And that's going to set us up. It's going to be hard for them to come back and say, well, we did this guidance later after you guys had already made that payment. Then we came out with this. So, you got to pay this back. Our argument's going to be, well, you can't give guidance in retrospect.
Right.
Guidance is something that comes out before you do the spending. So.
And are they going to make us do like a W-9 with those people?
I think it's probably going to depend on the amount, and I would say probably not, because I think that it's going to be under the general welfare exclusion. So that's.
I just didn't know if they were going to follow it up with that and switch it out. So.
I don't think so, but I can get back to you when we have it all.
Yeah, I know it's early and you're busy, so I was just wondering on those if it's set, because I heard, other tribes are sending out and how they're going to recoup that if they find out now that that's been based on. So are they going to just say, hey, you're grandfathered in because we didn't put that in until afterwards, or what?
I don't know.
That's why those questions came up.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
some people had asked about that, about the W-9.
Yeah.
If they apply for it, if they're on Social Security and they beat that level of income they can't surpass.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why those questions came up, so. Okay, that's all I got, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Counselor Buster, did you have something?
Yeah, I just,
I know the Urban Potawatomi had filed suit about the numbers that was turned in from their tribe. And I'm wondering, what numbers did we use from the Cherokee Nation? Did we use HUD data or did we use state data?
We didn't have a choice. We submitted, they had asked us for some information up front. And we submitted our citizenship numbers, I believe it was as of January 1. So I got that from registration and I submitted that. And then when the Treasury made the distribution, they made the unilateral decision to use the IHBG numbers under HUD.
Okay.
So it was our HUD numbers were used, but we didn't have an option.
The HUD numbers are a little bit lower than what our citizens are. They've always been that way.
Yep.
I'm just curious. Thanks.
Okay, I think we've roasted you about enough. I do want to tell you that Trey called me the other night when she got the new distribution. And it was after 9 o'clock, and she was on her way home from the office. So she's been burning the midnight oil, and we appreciate it because it's all for the people we serve. So I do appreciate you. Okay. We'll move on to the next two, Career Services and Commerce. You have their reports. If you have any questions, I would encourage you to either reach out directly to Diane or Anna, or if you want to go through Tara Lee, you can do that. Otherwise, we're going to move on down to the consent items. I'm assuming everybody's looked through the tarot certifications. So I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second on the tarot certifications. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay, you got a new community assistance sheet. If there are any additions, Counselor Kanan, Duncan.
Jody, you got that pen ready?
We're gonna be here a while.
I'm just kidding. I just got one. Adair County 4-H Club, $750. That's going to be for a scholarship, and I guess it's fitting, to say too, because you guys all knew her. Sean and I are going to help out and do a scholarship in memorial of Karen Ketcher, who passed away this year. So she was really involved, a donor at local 4-H and FFA, so thought it'd be fitting in conjunction with the booster club. So.
Okay.
And I guess Todd reminded me the administration is also putting money towards that scholarship endowment too. So.
Okay.
You want half it or double it?
Well, I owed him some money, so.
Oh, okay.
Lost the pool game.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna go 250.
We'll give you credit, but not take your money, right?
Well, and I want to add 250 out of mine.
Okay. Same thing, 250, okay.
Play 9-ball next time.
Okay, I saw some. Was it you or was it Wes? Okay, go ahead. Both of you. Okay. Let Junior, age before beauty, Wes.
Yeah. Okay, we got Gore Athletic Department for high school, $1,940.
Okay.
One more, Vine Youth League, $1,138. Crunch time.
Go ahead, Wes.
Caney General Baptist Church, $750, and Dry Creek General Baptist Church, $750.
And the first one was Caney Baptist?
Caney General, yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Counselor Crittenden, did you need
I need
something
to do,
else?
yeah, thank you. 400 to the Jeremiah Foundation.
Jeremiah Johnson.
Take it back.
Okay. no more additions. Keith, would you give me a motion?
I make a motion. Second. As amended.
Second.
I've got a motion and second. All those in favor? Any opposition? Let's do law enforcement next, because I think there were some changes on that. Look it over. Counselor Dora, would you give me a motion?
Madam
I make
Chair,
a motion.
Okay, wait just a second. Do you have an addition?
I do have an addition.
Go ahead.
I would like to take my balance to the District 12 DA's office for a school-age drug prevention education partnership. Money will go to District 12.
The office is coming.
He knows better than that. Okay, anybody else?
Okay, I'll make a motion with the amendments.
Thank you, Counselor Dora. Can I have a second? All those in favor? Any opposition? Okay, did everybody look at the roads?
There was a new road.
Oh, there was a new thing we got. Motor fuels tax.
Make a motion that we approve.
Thank you, Canaan.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the roads. All those in favor? Any opposition? Sports teams, was there anything new? I forget.
Make a motion that we approve.
Yes.
I got a motion. Can I have a second? All those in favor? Any opposition? Livestock.
Make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposition? The special projects was presented just for your information. So let's go on down to the budget mod. And there was a new one put on your desk today. That includes the new money we got last week, right?
Yes. That brings the total up to a little over 410 million.
Wowza. Okay, if there are not any questions on that budget mod,
Move for approval.
Move for its approval.
I've got a motion and a second to approve the budget mod. All those in favor? Any opposition?
And that's Jen A, right?
Excuse me? And
Yes.
we will move that, it'll automatically go to council tonight, won't it? Okay. Next meeting is tentatively scheduled for July 30. We're working on the July schedule now, so that may change. Councilor Crittenden?
Yeah. Remind me about the higher ed scholarships.
Yes, sir. I was getting ready to make sure I got that out because we forgot to announce it in education today. So our original scholarship deadline, we extended that for 2 weeks. That 2-week extension closes this Friday at 5 o'clock. So if you have any students that need to
5
get their
o'clock,
information
not
in,
midnight.
they got until this Friday, tomorrow at 5 o'clock to get their information in. It's extended for 2 more weeks from the original date.
Just a quick question on that. I did have someone call yesterday and was asking about that. She was trying to get she's going to go play ball out of Oklahoma Panhandle State University, I think, and she's got her transcripts over at NSU, and she needed to get those moved, but she said that there was a funding freeze on the scholarship side. Is that probably just the delay in trying to get these applications in?
Simply because of the delay. And
Okay, I told her, I said, go ahead and get it in. I said, I'll get it, figure it out, so that way you can get your transcripts over there and go start next
Yeah,
month.
so we do need to get it processed pretty timely now because so many of the schools are banking that money and we'll be one of the slowest paying institutions for scholarships because we've added a little bit of time onto that. But as soon as we get it closed, we're going to start processing this and get
Okay, I'll let Corey know, so that way, if anything, maybe there could be some sort of promise to pay while she's approved and is waiting on the funding, so that way she can get over there.
Many of the institutions are calling our department and they're answering a lot of questions from those institutions.
Good, all right, appreciate it.
That-
Okay, did somebody else over there have something to say? Counselor Austin, did you have your hand up? You always have something to say.
I can come up with something.
Okay, with that in mind,
Make a motion to adjourn.
very good. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, we got 10 minutes?
You did good.
Just enough time for
She did all right.
a little. If I hadn't had my Adair County help over here.